Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm moving on. I'm still using the same paper for this is revision. Revision, the good thing about revision, guys, it helps you to be familiar with the type of questions that you can actually come across in examination. It also helps you in question interpretation. Because at this point, we don't expect you to be reading those thick volumes of notes. We don't expect you to be reading those thick volumes of notes, but you need to work more on application. How do you apply those concepts that you have learned? How do you interpret the question? How best can you answer the question to get as many marks as possible? That's why I'm doing these videos, to help you prepare for the exam, the type of questions, how you interpret the questions. Because the moment you are familiar with the different types of questioning, then the exam becomes easier. That's the approach that I'm using. That's why you see I upload a lot of videos with question papers. I do this to help you interpret the question, to help simplify the concept. Please, let me take you through this, and I'm 100% sure that if you pay attention, if you take your time to listen, you definitely have a better comprehension of the concept. Okay, refer to the script below showing river rejuvenation. So this is the concept that is being assessed. That is your river rejuvenation. So that is the concept that is going to be assessed in as far as this question is concerned. So when it comes to river rejuvenation, I want you to always, when you go through a question and you hear about a concept, just have an idea, something should ring in your mind. Okay, river rejuvenation, what is this all about? How is it caused? Okay, you understand? So when you talk about river rejuvenation, let me just do a background, because sometimes I don't want to assume that you already know what this is. So when it comes to river rejuvenation, what does it mean to rejuvenate? Okay, rivers becomes more energetic. It starts to erode vertically again, which means it ranges to a state of youth. So this is what happens to the state of what happens within the upper course of the river, where the river is more energetic, where we have got a lot of nick points, where the river has got a lot of energy, where there's higher velocity. That's what the river rejuvenation is all about. The river gains more energy and will increase speed and erosive power. So obviously, what comes to your mind is obviously in terms of slope, it's steep, because when it is steep, the water is flowing at a faster speed. There is bound to be more rainfall. Okay, obviously, because as the volume of water increase, obviously the river has got more energy. So let me talk about some of the reasons for the increased energy which causes river rejuvenation. Number one, it can be long-term increase in rainfall, which means we are saying now this area has received more rainfall, the river has received more rainfall, which means as a result, which means the volume of water is increased. This has actually resulted in more volume in water, which increased the erosive power of the river, resulting in vertical or downward erosion. So long-term increase in rainfall result in river rejuvenation. You can also talk about the breaking up of a dam that will increase the speed and volume. Obviously, we are talking about downstream. If maybe the dam is full, there's too much pressure, they try to reduce the pressure of water in the dam. So it means downstream, obviously, the water is going to volume is going to increase, just going to flow at a faster speed, because the water actually has been opened downstream. So obviously there's bound to be more rejuvenation taking place. The rapid flowing tributaries joining the mainstream, we are saying now when the tributaries join the mainstream, obviously they bring with them more rainfall, which is going to add value, more volume of water in this river. Let's assume that this river is D, and these are the tributaries that are flowing to river T, which means they are going to add more water in this stream. They are going to add more water in this main river, which can also result in river rejuvenation. River capture, it also increases the volume of water and encourages more erosion, especially to the more energetic river. So that can also result in the river being rejuvenated. The lowering of sea level and also uplift of land through tectonic forces. I'm talking about, if you can think of what happened during a superimposed and also antecedent, obviously that in itself result in the river having more energy and also eventually resulting in river rejuvenation. So I've tried to bring a background. Then also with it, you're supposed to know what are some of the features that are formed as a result of river rejuvenation. We have got what we call a valley in a valley. We have got what we call terraced rivers. We have got what we call interlocking spears, incised meanders. We also have what we call nick points that can also develop along the profile of a river. So that's basically what we are talking about. Okay. those are some of the features that come as a result of river rejuvenation. This is just to give you a brief background, so that at least you understand the concept. Okay, let's go through the question. Define the concept river rejuvenation. So here you are defining, it's a process that you are giving a definition to, which means you need to make sure you're as comprehensive as possible. You need to make sure that you give a well-detailed definition. Okay, so we are saying now, this is when a river becomes the process where a river becomes more energetic and starts to erode vertically, or this is when a river gains more energy with increased speed and erosive power and starts to erode vertically. So what is important in as far as river rejuvenation is concerned is, number one, the river has got more energy. The river has got more energy. Number two, there is more downward erosion. Downward erosion is also called vertical erosion. Vertical erosion. So these are the two distinctive features that can help you to define the river rejuvenation. The river has got more energy and there is more downward erosion. Those are the two distinctive features that helps you to actually define river rejuvenation. So we are saying now the river has got more energy and it starts to erode vertically. So the river should have more energy and it will start to erode vertically. I think I've explained the conditions or the reasons for increased energy, where the energy is coming from. I've talked about the increase in rainfall, the breaking down of a dam will increase the speed and volume of water downstream, obviously. Rapid flowing tributaries joining the mainstream, lowering of sea level, and so on. I've talked about that. So the river now has got more energy and it starts to erode downward. That's what vertical erosion is all about. So the two distinctive features are your energy increasing, more energetic rivers becoming more energetic, more erosive, and there's increased downward erosion. So you cannot define river rejuvenation and leaving out these two things. They're supposed to be part and parcel of your in as far as your definition is concerned. Identify the course of the river shown on the diagram. So when you're identifying the course of the river that is shown on the diagram, what you need to familiarize yourself is when you look at the longitudinal profile of a river, do it like this: the upper, lower, and upper, middle, and lower course. Upper, middle, and lower course. So what is happening here? There is erosion in form of vertical erosion. Here there is erosion in form of lateral erosion, but there's more transportation. And in the lower course, there's more deposition. So what can you see in terms of the features that you find within the longitudinal profile? You know that you have got your where are you likely to have your meander? That's number one. You can see there's a meander there. Meander, you can have it in the lower course. You can also have it part of the middle course. That's number one. So already you are answering the question. You need to know what happens within the upper course, what happens within the middle course, what happens within the lower course as well. What are the features that you are likely to get from these courses, different courses of the river? So here I'm seeing a meander, which means what comes to my mind is the middle and the lower course. That's number one. Number two, I'm also seeing a floodplain. What comes to my mind is a lower course. So this question apply more to lower course than middle course because of the presence of the floodplain. You understand? Because of the presence of the what? Of the floodplain. So I would say it's the lower course of the river. Why? Because of the floodplain. I'm seeing the floodplain. That's all. Well, that's what this is all about. I'm seeing the what? The floodplain. I'm also seeing the meander, which can also be both from the middle and the lower course. So my question here, my answer here will be the lower course, of which I think even if you can say middle course as well, you can get it right. But there is a floodplain. So that's why I'm sticking to lower course. Give a reason for the answer in question 2.4.2. This is what I've been talking about, the presence of the mouth of the river. You can see there's the presence of the mouth of the river here, where it's ending, where the river ends. So it's the lower course, presence of the mouth of the river, presence of the floodplain I was talking about now, the presence of the meandering river. So these are the features that you find within the lower course of the river. You've got a meander, you've got a floodplain, and also the mouth of the river, which is the sea. So that is what explains that is the lower course of the river. Describe how an incised meander is formed. To incise is basically to cut deep. The meander is already there. but it's cut deep. That's what makes it, that's how it is formed through river rejuvenation. So an incised meander, which means it's still as it is, but what has happened is it has been cut deep, it has been incised. Just to incise is to cut deep. So let me give you, after river rejuvenation is okay, the meanders are cut deeply into the underlying rock. So this is what is happening. It's still the same meander, but now because of more energy that the river has, it now cutting deep. That's how an incised meander is formed. After river rejuvenation is okay, the meanders are cut deep into the underlying rock. This is how an incised meander is formed. Okay. Okay, Geomax, explain the factors that can result in river rejuvenation. What can result in river rejuvenation? I think when I was explaining on my, giving my first explanation, that's when I explained what increases the energy of a river to result in vertical erosion. This is the same thing that we talked about. Remember, we talked about long-term increase in rainfall. High rainfall increase the volume of water, velocity, and its erosive ability. What gives the river more energy is what you are talking about now. These are some of the factors, okay? So higher rainfall increases the volume of water, velocity, and its erosive power. The drop in sea level results in river gaining energy. The upliftment of land, which is isostatic uplift, due to tectonic forces. River capture, it also increases the volume and erosive potential of the capture stream. Increased volume of water due to melting of ice, which is glaciation. So these are some of the factors that actually result in river rejuvenation. What gives the river more energy to start eroding vertically? That's basically what you're talking about. What gives the river energy to start eroding vertically? That's basically what you're talking about when we say that. What are some of the factors that result in river rejuvenation? Here they are asking indirectly what causes river rejuvenation. That's what this is all about in terms of interpretation of the question. What gives a river more energy so that it starts eroding vertically? Okay, I've given the answers for that. Suggest the significance. When we're talking about the significance, we're talking about the importance of rejuvenated rivers on farmers. So when you look about, we talk about fluvial geomorphology or fluvial features. We also need to come up with ways how these landform features benefit humanity. That's basically what we're talking about. We cannot just talk about a waterfall, we cannot talk about a rapid, but what are the benefits that we can derive from those features? So you need to also to be aware of the benefits of different features that are the fluvial features. You also need not only this rejuvenated river on farmers, okay, but different fluvial features. What are the benefits to humanity? That's basically what we're talking about, okay? Suggest significance, importance of rejuvenated river on farmers, okay? Okay, number one, it ensures reliable supply of water for irrigation. Remember, we are saying that the river has got more water. The volume of the water increases, so it means that there is a reliable supply of water for irrigation, which helps the farmer actually to improve their yields, to increase productivity, to farm successfully. Okay, it also enhances soil fertility. It also enhances soil fertility. Okay, then what else? Its potential for hydroelectric power generation. It enhances forward capacity because now they've got more water, they can expand. Okay, increased supply of water for irrigation that reduces input cost. It reduces the risk of less risk of flooding as well. So these are some of the things that you can actually talk about in as far as the importance is concerned. So I say that it ensures reliable supply of water, enhances soil fertility, potential for hydroelectric power generation, enhances farm capacity, increased supply of water for irrigation, which reduces input cost and reduces or less risk of flooding. These are some of the things that you can actually talk about in as far as river rejuvenation is concerned. So boys and girls, I think this takes us to the end of this question that talks about river rejuvenation. Thank you.